I want to talk about Elon Musk and Twitter, and I speak about this with someone who has an almost vested stake in this because, quite honestly, the great traction behind our movie is in part being driven by Twitter. I don't mean that Twitter is pushing it. I mean the fact that there's free speech or something closely approximating free speech. This is how we can talk openly about topics, and quite honestly, we can't talk about the same topics on a number of the other platforms. And but like you mean like YouTube, and Facebook. Yeah, I mean those platforms have become a joke. I mean, we're still on them, at least for now. Debbie's like, who knows how long we're going to be on those platforms? We don't know, and quite honestly, at the end of the day, we don't care. But let's come back to Elon Musk, because his vision for Twitter, and he's going to be in the saddle very shortly, is really important. I find it kind of funny, by the way, that he's been kind of whipping Jack Dorsey into shape, because Jack Dorsey was kind of like the big tough guy, the John Travolta character, and calling the marching orders. And now Jack Dorsey appears to be like Elon Musk's sidekick. He's like Tonto, and Elon Musk is like the Lone Ranger. And so Jack Dorsey now says things like, no, we can't permanently ban anyone from Twitter. Whereas wasn't it under Jack Dorsey that Trump got permanently banned? So now that Elon Musk goes, no permanent bans, Jack Dorsey is no permanent bans. It's kind of fun to watch. I mean, it's like watching a bully who's been reduced to groveling because another bigger guy has showed up. I like this recent comment by Musk where he says, quote, Twitter OBV, obviously, he means obviously, has a strong left-wing bias. He knows it. And why does he know it? Well, Mike Cernovich had highlighted that there are these arson attacks going on against pro-life groups. And one of the leftists goes, we need more of this. We need more of this. They're actually advocating and promoting violence. And Twitter's supposed to have a policy against violence. And yet there's no threat for this guy to be kicked off. The left lives with this kind of immunity. And so Cernovich was highlighting the double standard, and Elon Musk responded, yeah, I get it. And I think Musk is saying that Twitter's not going to be this way. That now, Musk is not saying that no one's going to be banned at all. In fact, Musk's point in his recent comments, we need to put them in context, was no permanent bans. And that means there are people who could sort of do a foul. And in that case, they're going to be perhaps shadow banned or perhaps banned, but maybe for a duration. It's like almost like a penalty, but not a permanent ban necessarily. And I think where Musk is sort of driving the left insane is he goes, yeah, I mean, I don't see why. Trump can come back to Twitter. Doesn't mean Trump will. Trump might have decided, you know what, I've got my own platform. I got Truth Social, so no more Twitter for me. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump takes that view. In fact, I think he's even suggested something to that effect. But I think Musk also has a point when he says that you want to have platforms where people can engage. And Twitter, actually, the old Twitter was that, because you had the left, you had the right, and as a result, you could really have the kind of lively, sometimes acrimonious, but a lot of times just really fun back and forth. People got to hear what the other side has to say. Sometimes it's a bit in your face. And Twitter, of course, had always had a little bit of that Wild West quality, which I think was quite honestly part of its appeal. Many of us, me included, developed over time what I call my Twitter persona, which is honestly a little more aggressive than I am in person, because in person I'm not confrontational. But on the other hand, in Twitter, I'm known to be sometimes a little acerbic. Well, if all the conservatives get out of Twitter and they go to other platforms, then you really have platforms in which you're only going to be talking to your own side. And obviously, I think we can see that as a country, that's not a good thing. Now, we might be forced into that situation. If the left is going to ban us and block us, we have no alternative but to make and go to and flee to our own platforms. But it is nice to have platforms where people can still engage. It's almost like a vestige or a reminder of America in better days than we are living through now. And I think someone made the comment on on Twitter itself that, it's a bunch of foreigners. I think he literally named Elon Musk and me, but you could name others. It's foreigners who are trying to bring back the old America. Isn't that weird? I mean, Debbie certainly falls into this category as well. All of us came to this country at a time when, the leftist revolution was already underway, but it hadn't taken full hold. And so we were able to see, not just in theory, not just in philosophy or by reading the documents of the founding, we were able to see glimpses of the old America, a really pleasant place to be. And that America has now been, to a large degree, stripped away. And we're going to try to bring it back. We realize it cannot be brought back in exactly the same form as it existed before. But the spirit of the old America remains as pressing, as important, and as appealing as ever. And we're going to fight for that America even here, even now.